Why do tubs and showers, particularly showers, get moldy over time? The answer is pretty simple and relates to how water is handled and whether or not the area has a chance to dry out after it's used. This shower has its own unique set of challenges, first being that the tile is a natural stone which allows water to soak into it to a certain degree. As we will see, there are other issues with the original installation, so after about 20 years of use, it's time to tear this one out and start over. This is an area where there's no visible mold on the tile or grout joints, but behind the tile and wallboard, it's a different story. That's one reason why when you see a lot of mold in all different corners and crevices, like in this shower, you typically have a lot more problems going on than meets the eye. This is moisture soaking through the natural stone tile and grout joints and never having the chance to dry out. So in that kind of environment, mold is going to form. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the quality of this installation. It's enough to just say that the installers, if they had used a little more common sense, they could have avoided some of the things I'm going to show you as we tear out this shower floor. Then as I put this thing back together, hopefully you'll see a different approach that should help make this shower much easier to maintain in the years to come. Alright, here's the issue with an otherwise pretty decent installation. They ran the wall tile down all the way to the slab, did that first, and then floated in their shower floor, which goes up against the wall tile and creates a crack there. Then they set their floor tile on top of that and left a big grout joint, half-inch joint, at that corner, which is some point going to leak. There's a little bit of caulk in there, but water that gets into that seam then is just going to stay there. It has no chance to go anywhere except just stay in that corner. And they've done kind of something similar here. When you do a shower step like this, if you can avoid putting a grout joint like this on the inside edge of the shower step that's going to have water splashing on it all the time, it's ultimately going to leak. And I'm sure there's water down below this as well. So water will work its way into that joint down below. So anyway, you want to span this with a full piece of tile. A little more demolition of the floor begins to reveal the primary problem and reason behind all the mold. A shower pan, which is this blue material, is a plastic membrane that is there to be a final water barrier between the shower and the outside world. For some reason, and this is not the first time I've seen this, but one of many, installers will put nails or run screws into the shower pan at or below the level of the floor tile in the shower. Doing that defeats the whole purpose for the shower pan, and if at some point water does get to those nails or screws, it leaks through the holes and into the wood studs, starts the slow process of rotting out the studs and turning your shower into a swamp. If you live in a humid area, this happens at a much quicker pace. So if you're replacing a shower and hiring someone to do this for you, pay particular attention to what they are doing when it comes to installing the shower pan.
Wall tile connected, so everything below that line should never have anything close to having a nail in it. But here we've got nails down just literally inches off of the slab, and they're all rusted. So that's that's the issue. That's the problem.
And to add insult to injury, check out this one little spot when you see the shower pan pulled back.
Okay. There's even a hole in the shower pan right there too. Like someone must have.
So let's put it back together in a way that makes sense. We're certainly going to make sure that the water knows where it's supposed to go, which is down the drain, and then virtually eliminate the possibility of mold ever building up in this shower. The whole process I use to install shower floors is spelled out in detail in a couple of videos I did called Building a Shower Floor from Scratch. I'm linking part 1 of that series above, so check that out if you have questions about the process I'm using in the rest of this video. Also, feel free to comment if you run into shower and mold problems in your own bathrooms or have other suggestions beyond what I'm providing here. Mine is certainly not the only approach, so I'd love to hear from you about your experiences too. I build my steps for my showers out of brick. Again, that's one of those common sense things to me because we all know what happens to wood if it gets wet. Some people might say, oh well, now I use wood because I cover it with the shower pan and I treat the wood with waterproofing sealant and it's much easier to work with 2x4s. And my response to that would be, okay, that's fine, but we all know what happens to wood when it gets wet. So I'll stick with the bricks. I have added some 2x6 blocking around the perimeter of the shower to support the shower pan, and the shower floor. This is now ready for the first layer of dry pack, which will slope from the outside of the shower down to the top of the black flange under the drain. The purpose of the rest of this entire process now is to give any water that has run through the shower head every opportunity to find its way to the drain. Assuming we do all this well, the shower will be easy to maintain and have very little chance that mold will ever grow in it. Now that my pre-slope is set up, I'm ready to install the shower pan. Need to take it outside and lay it out in the sun for just a few minutes to warm it up. The main goal when installing the pan is to get it in place without damaging it, and the only spot I want to cut a hole in it is where it actually ties into the drain. Beyond that, I put screws at the top of the pan, which at this point is about 6 to 8 inches above the finished floor. The final layer of dry pack brings the shower floor up to its finished level, and this is what we set our tile on. Now here's the takeaway from the process I'm using to install this shower floor. My floor, including the tile, reaches all the way to the studs, and it gradually slopes from the studs down to the drain. Any water that is on any part of this floor is going to immediately be heading to the drain. So when I install my wallboard, which in this case is 1/2 inch HardieBacker, and my wall tile, which is another 1/4 inch thick, that is all going to be positioned on top of the shower floor. So when water runs down the wall and first comes in contact with the shower floor, that will be about 3/4 of an inch away from the studs and on the floor that is moving water rapidly to the drain. The joint between the shower floor and the wall will be caulked with a silicone-based caulking, so all that's necessary over the course of time is to maintain the integrity of the grout joints and caulk joints in the shower. And if you really want to make sure you don't have mold issues, then I always recommend to people that they squeegee their walls and dry the shower with a towel after each use. There will be a number of videos still to come from this bathroom remodel, so stay in touch by clicking the subscribe button. Check out the video on the right for more on the kinds of things I do, and by the way, thanks for watching.